From the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery in Nashville, Tennessee, it's Gardening Inside Out, a podcast with highlights from our Saturday morning live show, answering all your gardening questions, giving you plant advice for any space in your life. Let's start the show.
Hi, everybody. It's Caroline Gant yet again.
And hey, everybody, it's Austin Lowen yet again.
Hi, it's Tyler Blankenship. It's January.
It's January, and we are about to get a snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
We've been preparing all day, especially Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sealing up stuff. Our greenhouse is so sealed up right now.
It's hot in there right now.
It is hot in there, I know. I wouldn't call it airtight by any means, but it is close.
Mm-hmm.
We've been putting plastic over all the windows and everything we got, the levered things that let air in and out, the fans, all that. So
Louvers?
louvers, that's the word.
You've been like up on ladders and lifts and machine things.
Yes, been doing a lot. So
Been doing a lot.
almost got it wrapped up, and we're preparing for this snow. Who knows what
Yeah.
we're going to get?
Yeah, we're actually talking on Saturday. We're talking a little early, so you guys won't hear this until Wednesday. We may or may not still have snow.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? But
Yeah.
on Wednesday, I think we will know.
And, you know, basically, this is the frame of mind we're in from literally today's episode, January the 13th, whether to cover plants, if your plants are going to be okay. We've kind of been getting the message out that they are going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to be okay.
I mean, the
I'm
rule
not
of
too
thumb.
concerned about mine.
Yeah. The rule of thumb for me has always been if you love it, cover it. And I think that still applies.
Are you covering stuff?
I'm covering my vegetables. I still have broccoli growing that hasn't put heads on
Yeah.
from fall. So, yeah, I'm going to try and protect that just with some frost blankets and then let the snow do the rest.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good idea because the dead of the winter here, the
Not the
veggies that with the cold temps we're about to get. I mean, yeah, we're talking about snow a little bit, but we don't know how much snow we're going to get, but we certainly know we're going to be cold, like single digit cold for Middle Tennessee. I mean, we usually see a single digit day or two, in the wintertime around here, but it's very cold for us Middle Tennesseans. So
It is.
we're
I'm going to be
bundled.
freezing. I'm going to be so cold, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. But it's wintertime, so that's what nature does.
That's what it does.
That is what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope you all stay warm out there.
Yeah. I'm not going to leave the house, I don't think.
No,
Yeah.
I'll go outside, play in the snow a little bit. I mean, you've got kids. You'll probably go sledding and build some snowmen. Not that I can't do that, but,
Yeah, it's always, the kids will go out until they get freezing cold and then they come in and throw off all their clothes on the ground and it's watery and drippy and all their clothes are wet. But it's cute. So I like to at least see one snow a year.
yeah.
But I hate being cooped up in the house. I have a very steep driveway, so getting out of it when it's snowing is nearly impossible. So that's highly annoying.
Yeah. I get snowed in as well.
I think my favorite things about being snowed in is watching the birds if they're out against the snow, especially like cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing.
I'm glad you said that because that was on my shopping list last night was bird seed and the store I was at did not have it. So I'm going to have to stop on the way home.
Cool.
Good.
See the crowds of everybody buying groceries so I can get some bird seed.
Put your blinders on.
Put my
Get your
blinders on,
seeds.
go there, get the seeds.
I always love to see my dog in the wintertime because she's a Great Pyrenees and she embraces the cold and she's white as well.
Do you just see three black dots? Like
Yeah.
the eyes and the nose.
And
Pretty
that's
much.
it. Just having the best time.
Yeah, and pretty much. But she goes insane when on the first snow. She just gets out there, face all in it, rolling around in it like she just loves it. So that's one of my favorite things about the snow.
Yeah. It's pretty. I just don't like being snowed in.
I don't either.
Oh, one little project that I am going to do is sow lettuce. I'm going to sow it, put it in my greenhouse, and see if it sprouts
Okay.
during
Nice.
this. I'm also going to see, this is the coldest temperature that my greenhouse has seen since it's been built. And I'm going to see if the little heater I have in there can keep up with it, or if I need to add more thermal mass or something to help it insulate a little more.
Nice. Well, next week we'll check in and see how that did.
Yeah.
We'll
you
let
all
y'all know.
Let's go ahead and get into the broadcast from what we did today, which was Saturday, January 13th.
All right. Have fun.
Austin, I know you've been, as have everyone, been really involved in all the preparations. What does it look like at Bates Nursery right now from your perspective?
It looks different, that's for sure. We've got all sorts of tarps pulled out. You know, we recommend and talk about like having to cover stuff or whatever, and like for your home garden, it's not something that you necessarily have to do because, like David said, we've had cold enough temps to kind of harden off those plants that got really severely injured last year. But here at Bates, our plants are
all on top of the ground.
they're all on top of the ground. They're all in pots, and that's our money. That's what we have to sell. So we want to make sure that we keep those, looking good. So we do cover out here. We've got most of our plants, probably 90% of our plants, in greenhouses, and they're going to be covered. They're going to be heated. We're going to take every precaution here because we don't want to lose our inventory. That's the whole point. And not that we would, even David knows we wouldn't necessarily lose our inventory over this cold weather snap, but we want to make and take every precaution we can to make sure we keep our plants looking good. That's the whole point. We don't want to sell plants that look damaged or
It makes them
hurt.
tough because you're going to have new stuff coming in, and the stuff that you're protecting over the winter, you want it to look as good as possible when spring springs.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why we're taking every precaution here. So if you do come out here, you're going to see, especially today, we're already getting started on it. We've got a crew already out there getting to work on laying stuff over and covering it up with frost cloths, and it's going to look weird if you do come out here. But the good news is, like I said, 90% of our plants are in a greenhouse, and they're still totally shoppable. So there's only a few plants that are going to be covered. So that's what we're doing. And it's going to be a big day.
Now, a lot of people lost boxwood last year. This should not be the kind of event that should cause concern on those. We've never had that kind of damage on boxwood previously. And again, as Austin just mentioned, things are well hardened off, Matt.
How about 80,000 pounds of questions?
There you go. You're
There you
right.
Because
go.
we do have 80,000 pounds of questions.
Okay.
So we've already talked about the cold snap just a little bit, but I just want to get a few specific questions. And somebody did ask something that I think will put some people's minds at ease. So this cold snap won't be like last December, right?
I don't think so. Me and David have talked a lot. I've talked with Adam. All of us have had a number of years of experience doing this. David having the most. And like we said, we really feel like our plants are hardened off enough now this year because we've had enough cold to where we're not going to see laurels lose leaves. We're not going to see Akuba lose leaves, and boxwoods get injured. I really don't think that's going to happen.
We're not going to drop 60 degrees in 3.5 hours.
Exactly.
Either,
Right.
So.
Yeah, that was an
And
event.
we've got a couple of other things working in our favor. Additionally, is that one, we have excellent soil moisture going into this cold spell. So we've had a copious amount of rainfall. The ground is really wet, and that might seem counterintuitive. Well, won't it freeze? Well, yes, 32 degrees is the freezing point of water, but soil temperature is what the relevant temperature is with respect to plants being able to withstand cold. 17 degrees soil temperature is where you begin to see damage on, particularly on broadleaf evergreens. We likely won't get close to that simply because we're supposed to get a really nice blanket of insulating snow on top. So between the insulating snow and the moisture that's already in the ground and only going to be in perhaps the mid single digits, it'll be very much different than it was last year. It's going to be cold, but it's not going to be the Arctic blast furnace effect.
Well, we do have somebody who's asking about their lilac or jasmine. I would say lilac would be fine, but jasmine, that one's marginally hardy here. So if it's in a pot and you can bring it in, I would suggest doing that because I lost mine when it went to about 10 degrees one winter.
This is
Carolina
actually
jasmine are not known for their extreme winter hardiness. Lilac should be no problem. They're a zone 4. Austin, is that
maybe
correct?
even more. I talked to a man that was
maybe even
straight up
3.
from Sweden, and I think lilac is like the country shrub of Sweden, and he was all about his lilacs, and he was asking me about lilac down here, and I'm like, look, we're like about as far south as you can go with lilac. This is actually good for lilac. They need like some good chilling hours over the wintertime for them to really bloom heavy next spring. Like if we have a mild winter, lilac doesn't bloom all that great. But this year we're having this good week at least of very cold temperatures. Lilac will embrace that. They are totally
mine doesn't do
okay.
well here.
Yeah,
it's
most
too
don't.
hot for mine.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. There are a lot of them, They live, don't get me wrong, but like they don't bloom all that heavy on, like I said, on mild winters. So maybe this winter will be cold enough for them to really have a nice bloom set next spring. So yeah, lilac, don't even worry about that.
Don't even worry about it. See, there's some positive in all this.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, because you have heat zones as well as hardiness zones. Is that right, Austin?
Well, heat zones in chilling hours is,
Yeah.
is another thing that a lot of people don't think about. Like a lot of times with fruit trees, they need a certain amount of chilling hours. That's why like cherry trees around here, you just don't see cherry trees loaded up with cherries. Hardly ever. Like it really, it doesn't get quite cold enough. That's why cherries are mainly, grown in like Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, like northern
And
Michigan.
birds like them.
And the birds like them, they do. So that's another reason. But a lot of times they don't even fruit at all because of the chilling hours. So that's a common thing. So this year we're looking like we're doing okay with this winter so far.
I think we're good. And that's one thing that people don't think about. They think all plants need warm weather, but they don't. They all like some, well, not all of them, but a lot of them like some really, really chilly temps. All right, our last question about the temperature drop comes from Colin. Good morning, Colin. And I just like how he asked this.
Yes.
He said, rapid fire, what plants do I need to cover? Brussels, broccoli, cabbage, kale, pansies, violas, sage, mint, oregano, and lastly, juniper with its New Year's balls. So he's talking about the Christmas ornaments that Austin called Christmas balls during our holiday season.
Thanks, Colin.
So do you think I don't think he needs to do anything.
You don't
with
need to
any of
hardly
those.
cover any of those. I mean, most of the herbs that you talked about are like perennial herbs. They're totally fine. Your pansies, your violas, definitely don't cover those. Mine made it through last year during the Arctic freeze that we had. Never got bit. Those were fine. Your juniper with your Christmas balls, leave them out, leave them gleaming. Those don't need to be covered up at all. You know what?
Colin, you got this.
Oh, but the Brussels
Chances are there's going to be
cauliflower.
enough insulating snow to really cover anything that might be in question.
Pretty much, yeah. And honestly, it's getting to the point. I don't know if you've got your Brussels and your veggies that you talked about, like in a a covered scenario or whatever. But it's about time to let those kind of go.
Harvest.
Yes. Harvest them. Yeah,
Yes.
today and tomorrow, harvest that stuff because those are not going to like this cold. Trust me. Those it's a little bit too low for that.
So
Very
Pam
good.
Eldridge on our Facebook page wanted to update us about that pine tree. Which there is no update on that tree that's planted close to her house that we talked about last week. She said, "Thank you, David Bates, for reminding me not to do that in the future." She said, "After the bomb cyclone, we will get back to the tree issue." And then she did sign it, Tidy Gardner's wife, which
Tidy
I
Gardner.
love.
Well, I thought Tidy Gardner was going to take care of that last
did
week.
too.
Yeah,
Tidy Gardner
come
did
on.
not.
I thought he done got that chainsaw out. Went ahead and did it.
It's
Sorry,
going to
bro.
continue on. I'm excited about this.
I am too.
Pam
Thanks,
also
Pam.
sent some pictures of her gorgeous hellebore, which we're not going to be able to get up on the broadcast today, but I will update it on our social media platform. So
Very cool.
keep an eye out. I got to see them, and they are stunning.
What do they look like?
Hellebore.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'll show you a picture.
By the way, on the Instagram feed, I want to give kudos to Caroline for the Instagram special effects of the Mugo getting a bonsai this
Oh,
week.
thank you.
I noticed there was a lot of stuff on there, so that's something that you need to follow.
Magical.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah,
It
I was
neat.
surprised that I edited it so well, or I was able to get Austin in the same spot, and he got himself in the same spot as well. But
Able
I mean,
to hold them still.
we took the first one like 3 hours before the bonsai came into.
It went so quick. It was just like that. It was instantaneous.
Yeah, I've watched it a lot. I'm mesmerized by our own doing. All right, let's talk a little bit about trees and shrubs. Best time to prune a 2-year-old maple.
3:30.
Okay.
3:30.
3:45.
That-
No.
3:30 at least.
Yeah, it's a
3:45?
maple. You got to wait 3:45.
3:30
Never heard
at
that.
least during the winter. Okay,
Yes,
so now is the time to do it. We talked about you get to see the structure of your plant over the wintertime. Okay, you don't have leaves covering up all the stems, so you get to see the sticks and stems and what you want to prune. And with maples specifically, there's always a lot of like brittle sticks on the interior that you notice. They'll be like this grayish
Yep.
color, So very first off, you go in there and you can literally just take your hands and just
Clip them.
just
Ooh, the
knock
sound
them off.
effects.
Yeah, great sound effect. They just click right off, and you knock all the dead stuff out of it first, and then you can really see your structure. If you have any branches that are crossing, rubbing, any of that, we want to try to take care of. Get it to a good shape that you like, and this is the time to do it. Get out and
do it.
Get out and do it in the snow. Get out and do it in the snow.
Sure, do it in the snow. Yeah, freeze
All right.
yourself.
Speaking of doing stuff in the snow and the cold, one of our viewers is planning on planting 10 ember waves on Saturday. Is it okay to do it, or should I wait? I mean, we probably won't have snow on Saturday, but
Like
today.
coming up Saturday or like today?
It's a great time.
ask
to do
it yesterday, so it could be today. Yeah,
Probably
right
today.
before everything.
I mean, really, y'all, arborvitae. This is Ember Waves is an arborvitae. Okay, it's an upright. It's got a golden foliage to it in the spring specifically.
And they're spectacular.
They really are, yeah. And they go this bronzy orange, almost orangey-ish color over the wintertime. So good plant. Very, very cold hardy. Very cold hardy. So, I mean, even if you did plant it today, I don't really see a problem. I mean, wait till next Saturday, maybe. I mean,
If you got nothing else to do,
if you got nothing else to do, I guess you
I
can do it.
just
but I
think
mean,
they would look beautiful with the snow on.
They would.
Get it all completed. It would really be nice.
It
cover
would.
up the
Yeah.
dirt that's on there, the snow, cover up all the
Yeah, and
mud.
if you already have it, why not put it in the ground?
yeah,
And you're
I
planning
mean,
on
it's
doing
better
it.
than being above the ground.
Would you
so.
still want to water it in?
Yes.
Yep.
Right after you
Okay.
plant it, soak it thoroughly. But then after that, no, probably not
Right.
even anymore. You know, with the snow coming in, that'll eventually, seep into the soil too. So,
Very good.
no. Yeah, get them done.
Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Earth Mix Garden Products, creating regionally sourced high-quality soil blends and amendments for the sustainable-minded gardener. Fall and winter are great times to plant in the Southeast, and Earth Mix can help you with Landscape Soil Conditioner. Mix Landscape with your native soil to feed all winter long. Added mycorrhizal fungi help your plants get established faster and increase hardiness through the year ahead. Visit earthmix.net for more information and retailers near you. Remember, success begins at the ground level when you use Earth Mix garden products.
Yep, boxwoods, everybody. I know
Boxwoods.
this guy's probably pretty excited about it. And it's green velvet, which is my favorite. Green velvet boxwoods are taking on an amber hue. Is this normal? Mine
Totally.
definitely are. Actually, my boxwood named Kev is taking it on more than any of my other boxwoods.
Yeah.
So,
Boxwoods in more sunshine actually go more bronze than they would in the shade. Boxwood's a very shade tolerant plant actually, but whenever you have them in the full sun, they go a little bit more bronze. Totally normal. I've got velvets in my house as well. I swear, I've got 8 velvets at the house, and I'm pretty sure every single one of them look different. Like none of them look exactly the same.
you have 19 boxwood total at your house planted?
If you count the 12,
Just
what I
about.
say? 12 and
20.
how many? 6 and 2. I got 8.
8.
I got 8 velvets and 12, so 20.
20. Wow.
Yeah,
Boxwood lover.
20 boxwoods.
I think I have like 10 or something. Maybe.
I'm outside
Yeah.
the boxwood. I haven't got a single one.
no,
And
no
also-
boxwood.
Nope.
Okay.
Austin, I don't know whether
That's just because I don't know where I'm gonna put it. That's
there's a lot of folks who really seem to be really get preoccupied this time of year about plants changing colors, and it seems interesting that people they get a little obsessed with. Is just everything okay? And it's very normal. You're going to have this occur every year, and for conifers in particular, it's a very desirable attribute. As you mentioned on many cultivars of boxwood, you do see that bronzing effect that occurs from cold weather, and there's nothing about it at all that's an indication that there's anything wrong.
No.
It just means it's cold weather.
That's right. Yeah, and I get it. I mean, it's a very normal question for us to have to answer, and we see it every year. We're totally aware of it. But as a homeowner or a plant owner, someone that's gotten into plants, I could totally see how they can come outside and look at their plant and be like,
whoa.
that thing's changing color. It must be dying. That's a very common thing. But like David said, nope, totally normal. Things change, the seasons change, everything changes, and then spring comes around and goes back green.
Yeah, it's another good reason to come to your independent garden center like Bates, so you can see it during the winter time
Yeah.
and see what's going on.
And you can
with it.
chat with us about
Right.
it. And we can show you, yeah, look, ours, they're doing the same thing. That's what happens.
It is what happens. Yeah, mine are like orange in spots.
They do go orange-ish.
It's
Orange
like
is the color.
fluorescent orange.
Yes. And then some of mine are like super dark. Like at night, right before the darkness comes, they almost look like black. Yes, that night before
Right
the
before the
darkness
darkness comes.
Before it gets dark. God, like a scary novel or something.
Oh, you need to write a plant novel. That would be fantastic.
That'd be great.
All right, we've got a viburnum question to wrap up kind of our tree and shrubs topic area. Yeah, whatever I'm trying to say. This will be the third spring for my Korean spice viburnum that has never bloomed. Any thoughts?
That's weird.
That is strange. It's like my passion flower.
You know
that
what?
Never bloomed.
It'll grow in the shade, but it won't flower very well in the shade.
That's a good
And
point.
Maybe too little light.
Could be. Very well could be. Maybe it's just, I don't know if you planted a real small one. Maybe it's just kind of young, hasn't started yet. But there's, like David said, unless it's just in deep, heavy shade, there's not a real reason why it shouldn't be blooming. But keep us informed. This spring, let us know if that thing blooms, because Korean spice is really nice. That rhymed. It smells good.
That did rhyme.
It did.
You're over there writing that plant novel
tell
right
you.
now.
Give me a notebook. You know what, though?
Gorgeous.
I've got a bone to pick with Hellebore.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. I'm mad at
I know.
Hellebore a little. Look, Tyler, get on this. See that?
Do it now.
Look how it's
That was
turned
bossy.
down. I hate when flowers turn down. Now they're doing very good efforts. They're hybridizing Hellebore.
Can you go to the one in
make
front
it.
of Josh?
Yeah, go to the one in front of Josh. That one's close. Now he's pulling that up a little. But if you just let it go, Josh. Let it go. Look.
I like
it's
how they
pretty good.
downturn.
They turn down. I wish
love
flowers
it.
never turned down. It
They're
annoys me.
embarrassed.
They're embarrassed.
They're embarrassed.
Why are they embarrassed?
That's a 3.5
I don't
inch
know. They should
bloom
be
in
proud of it.
January, folks.
I know. I
I'll
get
deal
it.
with it. It's
But I just
gorgeous.
wish they were up and looking up.
Happy.
Yeah, but they're not. It's okay.
You
okay.
feel that way about Brugmansia as well. And
A
I
lot
think
of
that
things.
is
Anything
crazy.
that turns down. I'm like, show yourself, flower.
Show yourself.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, let's get to some more questions to calm
Okay.
you down a little bit.
But good job, Pam.
All right. How do I get apples and blueberries to fruit this year?
Well,
Well.
well, with both of those plants, they need different cultivars. Okay, so you can't just plant one blueberry. You can't just plant one apple and expect a lot of fruit. So I don't know if that's what's going on. You need multiple varieties, at least two. Okay, I say multiple, but at least two different cultivars close to each other,
And a
somewhat
yellow
close to
one,
each other.
right?
Huh?
A yellow one.
With an
should-
apple, a yellow
yeah.
one. Yellow Delicious is a good pollinator. Yes,
Yeah.
certainly. But there's other pollinators with other apples. But you need, if you can get more around each other, you're going to just increase that pollen, and you're going to increase that being, moved around between plants, and you're going to get a lot more fruit. So that's the first goal. Okay, so we got to get more of those, and then really, there's nothing you can do really to get them to fruit. That's kind of the bee's job, and that's the wind that really transfers pollen to to the other flowers of the plant. So not much you can do, but besides just let them grow, let them flower, let them.
Blueberries are a little easier to manage because they're shorter.
They're shorter, yeah, and they're shrubby, and and it does take actually blueberries are kind of like azaleas a little bit, if you will. Like they kind of take a minute to latch in. It seems like they just kind of need a couple seasons to kind of get growing, and then once they do, and they produce enough sticks to make enough blooms, they'll produce fruit for you. So it will happen. We just got to be patient.
The squirrels and the birds will be happy. Again.
They will be very happy.
Yes.
You better get rid of them.
Feeding nature, feeding wildlife.
Yeah.
Raspberry talk.
Oh.
Since we're on the fruit topic, any tips? You do, and so does Tyler. He loves this one that we're about to talk about. Any tips on success with raspberries? I want to grow some golden ones.
Good, you should. Fall gold raspberry.
you should.
Yes, I'm
Yep.
rhyming all over the place today. The
Really
fall gold raspberry is an excellent, excellent cultivar of raspberry, and they never turn red. Don't wait for them to turn red. They don't. They go this gold color. but
They kind of blush a bit,
they do blush. That's a good point. They're,
like
they're shy.
a rougey
Somebody
gold.
telling dirty
When they're really
jokes
ripe.
around them or something?
Yeah, they're blushing.
Okay.
But it's an excellent cultivar, y'all. One of the tastiest fruits I've ever put in my mouth. Not
Word.
even joking. Like not astringent, hardly at all. They're just super sweet with just that touch of raspberry that we all love. And there's no real tips. I mean, not too much I have to tell you about raspberries, but they're growing machines, y'all. Like they are growing machines. So the biggest thing is to get them on a trellis. Okay, I will say that. Like you don't want to just grow it free growing to where the stems go up and they get tall and then they arch and they come down, because they will. And when they do
They'll
that,
flop.
the fruit will lay on the ground, and we don't want any of that. So keep it up to where sunlight gets to all bits of the plant, all parts of the plant, and so just trellis them up, and then after that, you just watch them grow, y'all. Watch them fruit, and then eat that fruit
Yes.
before the birds do, because
the
then
ants.
birds will get you.
Yep.
I
will.
think.
Oh.
So I think that with the golden raspberry, birds haven't really messed with mine so much.
You're lucky.
Because, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
don't
because
show up as much,
they haven't
probably?
seen that red of the raspberry
Maybe.
that kind of triggers them. Hey, this is edible. Because I've had a lot of luck of leaving them to ripen on the vine.
Interesting.
But they are an extremely good plant. Plan for lots of space.
Yes.
Need
They get
ample
bigger than you
space.
think they do.
I actually had some rudbeckia planted in the same raised planter that I do have my raspberries. It's out competing the rudbeckia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Which
yeah,
Austin loves because he hates rudbeckia.
Yes.
I love
Check
it.
out that
I
true.
love rudbeckia.
Sandy Reed agrees with Austin about the hellebore blooms. They make her mad.
Sandy?
Really?
When
Sandy?
Sandy.
hard to see
Oh,
them down.
Sandy. You're right. Come out, see me today. We'll talk about
Come out and
hellebore.
visit.
We'll get mad together about hellebore. Sandy.
Sandy.
Thanks for listening.
We're going to shift over to fig talk now. My
talk.
1-year-old turkey fig is looking more like a bush than a tree. What do I do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Continue.
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 I mean, they are
Bushy.
kind of more bushy than they are tree form. If you ever buy one tree form, that's because it's been worked on. It's been, the figs naturally want to grow as a bush, pretty much. They have multiple stems come from the earth. But like, say a really good company like Monrovia grows figs tree form. Okay, so all they do is they prune off all the other sticks. They just leave one stem. They stake it so it stays nice and straight, and then they'll top it at the top, and that'll make it bush out up top. So it'll make it look like this single stem to a tree form, tree-like
and that's-
fig. But
Yeah, and that's great if you live in California,
Right.
or maybe even Arizona.
Uh-huh.
But here, where we have real winter, or at least enough of it to effect dieback, the result of that is a multi-stem version.
yes,
The other thing is that they grow those in a tree form because they're a lot easier to ship without damaging them.
Good point.
Yeah,
Plots-
buddy.
If you've ever seen a truck come in and the plants are stacked up, that makes them a lot easier to stack in there and
You
not
put more of
damage
them
the
on the
ones
truck,
beside
too.
of it.
yes.
But if you buy one that's a tree form, it will revert to a bush form, and there's nothing you can do about it. So don't even worry about it.
Nope.
Just enjoy it, and you're going to get a lot more fruit on it that way, and it's going to be easier to harvest and to reach. So just enjoy it. All of them turn to bushes here, just the way it is.
My larger ZZ plant is getting some yellowing at the bottom. Is it under stress? Yes, it probably is. Usually that is overwatering, so you might need to cut back on watering. Now it could be underwatering. It's a little bit hard without seeing a photo, but those yellow leaves at the bottom is not typical for ZZs. They don't shed their leaves. Austin, actually, we're going to move to something that we were talking about the other day with ZZ plants that's really cool. So you might need to check it out, maybe adjust your watering, cut it back if you're watering a lot, or it might need a little extra. They like to sit dry in between waterings, but not like a cactus. They're not going to want to sit dry for like weeks at a time. And in the winter, I mean, I always talk about it on the show when we talk about houseplants, but you do have to switch your watering schedule when winter happens with the heat on in your house.
So you top your ZZ, not ZZ your top. Okay.
Don't top that ZZ.
No,
Hey.
you said cut it back, right?
That's
No, I didn't say cut it
I
back.
thought you said cut it back a little bit.
No.
Didn't? I was hearing.
No,
with one
so
ear.
if you cut a ZZ at all, it's not going to regrow from that, which
Okay.
is it's a great segue for me
Okay.
handing this over to
Don't
Austin.
cut the ZZs.
Don't cut the ZZ.
Yeah.
If those lower leaves are yellowing, you can remove them. It's not going to grow anything back out of that because once that stem
Okay.
has any damage, it's not going to come back from that.
Okay.
well.
That's what I heard.
I had an epiphany the other day, and I had to tell Caroline about it. I was so excited to come in because I realized I was watering my ZZ plant. I've got the Raven.
Which he rarely waters any of his houseplants.
Oh, yeah, but they're great. Had them for years. Whatever. That's how I do it. It's fine. I've got the Raven ZZ plant. It's a black-leafed ZZ
It's a
plant.
gorgeous one.
And I put it in my sink, and I was soaking it like I do because I hadn't watered it in a month or so, easy. And so I was really, really soaking it. And I was looking at it, and I was like, man, this thing, like, I wonder if I could top it, like top out the stems and then have it bush lower, which is very, very common practice to do with tons of things to make this happen. It makes it a bushier plant. I was looking at it, and I was like, there is no buds on the stem of a ZZ plant whatsoever. It does not have a terminal bud, which is the one at the very top, and it does not have side shoots at all. It doesn't grow like that. I realize this.
It doesn't. It's a cool plant.
All of its growth comes from the ground-ish. It's a rhizomatous plant, like rhizomes beneath the ground, and then it'll send up all of its leaves all at once, and then that's all the growth you get.
It's really cool. It'll be like what looks like one leaf that's going to unfurl, and then it comes up, and that stem keeps going, and leaves just keep opening off of it.
It's a compound leafed herbaceous perennial in some areas, not perennial here.
No.
But it's amazing. So like, you cannot top your ZZ plant and then think that it's going to bush out lower. It doesn't work like that. All of its growth comes from those rhizomes at the bottom and shoots up. It's just an amazing thing.
So you can't be a sharp dressed man.
No.
Okay, no. Okay, you cannot be a sharp dressed man.
Don't ZZ top it.
ZZs are great plants. So if you don't have one, you don't know what they are. Really good low maintenance, medium light plant. It's a really good beginner plant.
Easy.
Easy
So
peasy.
I'm curious, Caroline, do we have any in stock at this time?
Oh, we got so many. We've got kind of your standard ZZ, just the solid green leaf. We've got chameleon, which comes out this like almost yellow color, and then it turns a darker. We've got some ravens in, and then we've also got Zinzi, which is kind of a more curly, smaller leafed ZZ plant. So we've got 4 different kinds in all different sizes.
Additional support for Gardening Inside Out is brought to you by Bates Nursery and Garden Center, a third-generation nursery located in Nashville, Tennessee, and 20-time recipient for Nashville's Best Garden Center, offering the widest selection of new arrivals for fall, like specimen conifers, Japanese maples, and pansies in nearly every color. Open year-round, minutes from the heart of Nashville in beautiful Whites Creek, Tennessee. Browse their selection online anytime at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932.
Y'all come out, shop in the houseplants. It's heated, it's undercover. It's real nice this time of year to be
cool
inside.
Stuff in there too. Man.
Yeah, we did recently get a great shipment of houseplants in. We have a question about the podcast. So on the podcast, you mentioned wildflowers. What would it take to start a wildflower field? That's kind of something that I've been doing the last couple years is just sowing seeds, letting some native plants grow up, letting them go to seed each year, and just seeing if they can compete with the weeds enough to turn into a flowering field, which it has. I mean, I don't have to really do a lot. Right now it looks like,
Weeds.
just weeds.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugly leaves and stuff that are up. But the birds are absolutely loving it. So what I did was I put down cardboard. I think I might have done plastic with part of it. This was a bed that I've been working on for years, and then I decided to make it a wildflower area about a year and a half ago. So I tried to kill off the grass as much as I could, like we talk about all the time. I mean, we're never going to kill it off. It's always going to come back. Bermuda's going to creep in. Crabgrass is going to be everywhere. But then I tilled up the soil just a little bit, and then I got tons of the 4P perennials that we get in the spring here at the nursery. That is like the best way to start. And just packed them really, really tight. And then I just scattered seeds everywhere. Yeah. So it all has kind of mixed in. I have stuff flowering throughout the different seasons, which is really, really nice. I mean, obviously not winter, but all other seasons I get flowers. And it is kind of choking the weeds out a little bit. Like I don't have as much grass coming into it because those flowers are so dense.
And you need to leave them through the winter and allow them to go on.
I leave them through the winter.
You remember meadow in a drum that they used to sell, David? And you guys are way too young.
I've never heard of
No,
that.
I do remember that.
It was like a
flower seed in a little can.
It was it was like an oatmeal container, and you were supposed to stand on top of the hill with the wind blowing from behind you and just scatter them and let them go. That's the way it was work.
I love that.
kind of reenact the very end of the Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
Where they all blow back in your face, except those were ashes.
Okay. But
yes.
Miriam's got a question.
Hey, Miriam.
Well, she's got a statement. It's kind of a question. Oh, okay, there it is. The whole crushed eggshell and coffee grounds thing, if not composted, do they really help plants at all? And which ones?
I mean, I think it's organic material, and that's always fine to add back to a soil. I think it helps with like kind of the soil composition, if you will. I'm not sure that it really does anything nutrient-wise all that much for your plant specifically. I mean, like I said, I think it's just more or less a soil kind of helper.
You do get some calcium.
You get calcium out of the eggshell, yeah.
But the eggshells are, unless you break them into very small pieces, they're going to be quite slow even at that to break down, to release any of the calcium for the soil. So there is benefit there. As far as the coffee grounds go, a lot of people assume incorrectly that those are very acidic. They are not. Once that has been converted from beans and had hot water run through them to make coffee, they lose their acidity. So they're really almost neutral, just barely acidic.
It's good
So
filler.
it is really good organic material to add to the soil. So it's generally beneficial to everything, would be my
Doesn't hurt.
belief.
No, doesn't hurt.
Doesn't
And-
Yeah, not going to hurt anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you ruin your coffee grinder when you put the eggshells in it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Oh,
you
no,
gotta have
don't
it
do that.
dedicated, you know. So, all right, we got about 4 minutes.
I know we
Caroline.
got to get some more in. So we were already talking about soil. So let's talk about improving clay soil to actually grow stuff in.
Amend it with some of our amendments that we sell here is kind of the biggest thing. Dig your hole, get all the soil that's out of there, and incorporate good stuff with your clay stuff in a good way, in a good mix.
The way it works.
Yeah, we don't need to necessarily lose all of our native soil around here. I mean, our soil is actually pretty good around here, y'all. To be honest, we got beautiful trees and shrubs and flowers and everything that grows here. So our soil's not that bad. But if you want to plant something in it, get some of our amendments out here. Say our supernatural compost or our landscape mix to lighten it up a little bit. Mix it, incorporate it, use it. What's
Mix it,
next?
Yeah, just
incorporate
because-
it, use it.
Just because it's clay soil doesn't mean it's bad soil.
No.
But
Exactly.
Amending it can correct a lot of the ills that might be present, be it lack of percolation
Yeah.
or whatever. There are things that can be done to greatly improve almost any soil type.
Right.
Hmm. How about suggestions for mounding shrubs and plants to add to my flower beds? Mounding, like
plants that mound.
Growth
my
habit.
low
Growth
walker
habit.
catmint.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
mounds.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a mounding
I
plant.
love that one, and I have it
How
kind of
about a
staggered on
mugo?
either side of my sidewalk, so it grows over.
Lime mound spirea, maybe.
That'd be a good one. That has mound in the name.
There's
so
a
perfect.
lot of mounting plants out there.
Yeah, blue star juniper, not bad for a mounding little
there
plant.
you go.
It goes a little bluish purple over the wintertime. Shout out Ben Burple.
Burple. Ben
Burple.
Burple
Ben
is his
Burple.
nickname.
That's what they look like. What's next?
What's next? Reducing stink bugs on my potted vegetables and flowers.
Oh, stink bugs.
I hate a stink bug reduction. I mean, it just doesn't do well for me. It's
called a shop vac, I think.
Shop bags do well.
Yes,
a nice,
they do.
powerful flick is nice.
Oh, but they're kind of cute.
They're not cute.
I
Don't
like
lie.
'em.
No, you don't.
I'm a fan.
Just
Nobody
don't
likes stink
smell
bugs.
your finger if you flick it.
Yeah, see,
Ooh.
there you go. You're going to make it smell bad.
Yeah.
I mean, are they really bad for plants?
No,
I've
stink
never
bugs
had
aren't, no.
issues with them.
Well, they look a lot like squash bugs. So if
Yes,
you're
they
growing
do.
like squash or cucurbits, which is all the squash family plants, then that can be an issue. They can be a real detrimental
Yes.
issue, actually, if they're on your squash. But if it actually is stink bugs, those are more of like a home pest type of thing, kind of like a cockroach or something. I guess.
Category.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't really mess up plants all that much. Go
We
ahead.
just got a question on Facebook. Should I cover my Japanese maple? I planted her October of 2022.
No. Don't do it. Don't cover her up. She needs to shine.
She needs to shine.
Uh-huh.
There's
Nope,
nothing
don't
like looking
cover it.
at snow on really cool branching.
Yeah, deciduous
trees.
plants they don't have leaves right now, y'all. They're dormant. They're fine.
They're
fine.
sleeping. They're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
When do I need to treat crabgrass, and what products do you recommend?
Ooh, we got about another month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely that. And there is a specific crabgrass killer actually that we sell. That's a specific chemical. I can't remember the chemical off the top of my head.
Preventer.
Preventer. But
Yeah.
Preventer.
It's
yeah,
2%,
and
isn't it? Then?
It really is easier to prevent
Yes.
crabgrass than it is to get rid of it. And you have to use, therefore, it has to be a pre-emergent type of herbicide. So it doesn't really kill the grass. It just prevents the weed seeds from germinating. So you get a lot more effective control by eliminating the number of weed seeds that germinate as opposed to trying to kill them after the fact.
It takes more of it than you might think of, too. So you only get it.
Yep.
Crabgrass is no joke.
Nope, it
No,
is
it's
not.
not.
Okay. I hear music in the
I hear
background
music,
somewhere.
too.
Oh,
Okay.
that was
means
fast.
it's
It was
over.
a quick hour, wasn't it?
Very quick hour.
Now, next Saturday morning, we're going to come back. So, everybody, if you're out traveling this week, and particularly on Monday and Tuesday, be very safe in what you do. If you don't have to get out and it's bad, don't
Just
go.
If the weather's bad next weekend, we might look a little different, but
We
we'll
might.
be here. You'll understand what that means a little later on if we have to do it. We could have to do a remote show.
A remote.
Remote.
Remote. But we'll do it, and it'll be You won't even know that we're not here at Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
I think they
Yeah,
probably
you
will.
Hey, like and subscribe. Go out there on all the social media platforms and share it. Thank you, Arisha, for doing that every single week with the Facebook page.
Arish!
We really
We
do
do
appreciate
appreciate it. We'll see you next Saturday morning for Gardening Inside Out.
Thank you for tuning into the Gardening Inside Out podcast. If you're looking for more information or more from your hosts, don't forget that we have a live Saturday morning broadcast, 8 a.m. Central Time on YouTube and Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram channel. That's @Gardening Inside Out for more posts, reels, and in-depth dives to topics and things we've discussed on the show. If our content resonates with you, consider giving us a follow, like, and subscription on all of our social media pages. See you next time.